My health insurance is increasing from $417 a month to $1,002 a month if I want to keep the same doctors, have similar deductibles, and the same copays. Here's my old health insurance: $40 copays, $80 specialist visits, $417 a month. Here's what I'm looking at now for the same copays, deductibles, and my doctors covered: $1,002 a month. After turning 26 and having to get off my parents' healthcare plan, I finally had found new doctors and a new therapist. But in America, you don't get to choose your own doctors. Your healthcare plan does. And after my previous healthcare kicked off 1 million people, I'm now having to decide between paying an additional $585 a month to keep my same doctors or abandon the care team I just built and find a cheaper plan. I'm pissed. This is what happens when Republicans cut ACA subsidies to give tax breaks to billionaire CEOs that are the ones raising our rates. 22 million people are watching their costs increase in January. And the craziest part is, more Republicans than Democrats rely on these ACA subsidies. This shouldn't even be a partisan issue. Yet Republicans have no interest in extending these ACA subsidies and have presented no plan to make healthcare more affordable for millions of Americans. I know a lot of people are in the same boat, and I just want you to know, you are not alone.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Global Views with Josh. If you're new here, make yourself at home. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications and join the conversation, because today, oh boy, we're diving into a topic that is setting the entire country on fire. And trust me, it's not just fireworks, it's medical bills. America is the only place where people can go, to see the doctor for a basic checkup and walk out feeling sicker after seeing the bill. Today, we are breaking down the outrage sweeping across the nation, and yes, even Maga voters are joining the chorus as insurance premiums skyrocket under Trump's healthcare policy moves. And if you think it's bad now, experts are warning that by 2026, if the Affordable Care Act isn't funded properly, prices will shoot up even higher, because nothing says prosperity quite like paying more for less and calling it a win, right?
So just got out of a meeting with one of my marketplace health insurance clients. Their premiums going from about $250 a month in 2025 to over $2,800 in 2026. So as you may already know, marketplace health insurance is seeing some of the biggest rate increases we've seen in years. The reason for that is when the American Rescue Act was passed that sent out all the stimulus checks in 2021, there was a stipulation in there about ACA health insurance to help more people get coverage, get on insurance. But since then, premium increases have risen so much that when they're planning on taking those away, we're going to see dramatic increases in those same health insurance plans. Who's being affected the most when it comes to these subsidy changes is going to be the middle income families. Single individual who makes over $60,000 might get no tax credits. As a household of two, if you make over $84,000, you could get no tax credits and see your premiums go from said $250 to $2,800. So in this case, the couple is an early retiree. They're in full grandparent mode. So they just bought a new bigger car to fit all the grandkids. They're traveling to see the grandkids and just helping out where they can. They're just living their lives. But fortunately right now, with the changes, if they're not extended, their premium is going to be drastically different this next year. Luckily, they'll be on Medicare in 2026, so they don't have to deal with this for the entirety of the year, but a lot of individuals are not going to be in the same boat as them. So if you're in that income range where potentially you're not going to be getting as much tax credits or get no tax credits at all, review your stuff early, plan ahead, don't wait for a renewal notice to come through. And if you do have any questions, please let me know, ask me a question, leave a comment.
All right, if you live in California, you got to listen to this. But these scary numbers are how much your healthcare bill could increase if you live in San Francisco next year. Pasadena, Santee, Costa Mesa, Bakersfield, Corona. So what do these numbers mean? Good question. Basically, these are the insurance plans that people currently buy on their own through the state marketplace, the same marketplace that was created by the Affordable Care Act. And they're increasing because this guy and his gang are taking away the tax credits that help keep the rates what they currently are right now. If they successfully remove these tax credits, you can see that plans that used to be at $500 this year are going to explode to $3,000 next year. $600 to $2,000. $600 to $2,000. These numbers were just released today, which are only confirming what we already knew, which is that healthcare prices are going to explode for people that need it the most. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, this guy and his party have shut down the government because they refused to negotiate a deal that would let these tax credits get extended. And it's a truly insane decision when you see that this is the reality of what's about to happen next year. If you want to learn more and stay up to date with this fight, please like and follow, because we're going to be creating more and more videos around why your healthcare should not be increased, which should not be a controversial opinion.
Okay, friends, hi. Ken to the RN here. I have another rant that I have got so much that I need to get off my chest, and I am really hoping that you all will engage with me, and we have got to start a dialogue about this, because someone eventually will hear this, see this, and maybe we can make some changes, okay? How I know about this is because my children, when they got to be of a certain age, they were no longer eligible to be on our insurance plan. And we're very fortunate that through my husband's civil service, we have really, really good insurance. Believe me, it is not lost on me how very lucky and blessed we are to have this. We have a low deductible, we have low co-insurance, unless you need mental health or addiction treatment, then it absolutely sucks. But that is another story. We have low deductibles. We have low out of pocket for the most part. It's just, we're very, very lucky to have this. And I don't know if you guys remember, a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple months now, I want to say it was either for the 4th of July or for Memorial Day, but I'm pretty sure it was the 4th of July. My son was helping me out getting our deck and our patio and everything situated, and the glass table shattered and cut him. He got a really bad cut on his thumb, and then one kind of on his wrist, and then one on his forearm. Honestly, he should have had sutures for that. He really should have. It took a long time and a lot of pressure to get that bleeding stopped, but he didn't want to go to the urgent care because his insurance has such a high deductible. He would have had to pay out of pocket anyway. I remember a while back, he was having some pretty bad abdominal pain. And again, he thought he called me into his room and said, "Mom, I think I better go to the emergency room." And I was like, "Okay, but are you sure?" And he put a heating pad on his stomach and he waited a little bit. And thankfully the pain did pass. So obviously it was nothing significant, but in the heat of the moment, he didn't know that. But I knew what would happen if he went to the emergency room. They're going to do all kinds of testing. They're going to do a CT scan. I can't even imagine what a CT would cost if you had to pay for that out of pocket. And I'm saying all of this to say there are people who work hard, but just don't make that much money. They're having to pay for health insurance, and then their health insurance that they're really sacrificing for ends up having such shitty coverage, it doesn't pay for anything anyway. Because if you're young and relatively healthy, you're probably not going to meet a $6,000, $7,500 deductible. So you're paying all of that out of pocket until you reach that limit, and then the insurance kicks in. Well, think about that, okay? Say even a little bit lower. Say you have a $5,000 deductible. You go to the doctor, maybe get some blood work. Blood work might be, $1,000. The doctor's appointment itself might be $150, $200. That's still only $1,200 of that $5,000 deductible. And if you're healthy and you're just going for a checkup, how many more times are you going to go in to see your doctor? And think about this. Then to have that coverage that you had to just pay all of that out of your pocket, you're probably paying a couple $100s a pay to have that insurance that doesn't pay for anything because you're not that sick and you don't meet the deductible. How is this okay? In what world is this okay? I remember a couple years back where people actually had $10,000 deductibles. $10,000. That is a lot of money. They were paying $300, $400, $500 a pay for this insurance. Now, a pay is, sometimes they pay per pay, sometimes they pay per month. But say they're paying $550 a month for that insurance with a $10,000 deductible. So they're paying all of this stuff out of their pocket till they meet that $10,000 deductible, but they're still paying the $500 plus a month to even have the coverage. Okay? It is just so upside down. People that can't afford it are getting the cheapest plan they can because they got to have something. And then it doesn't pay for anything anyway. They're paying high deductibles. They're paying high premiums. And the poor are just getting poorer. Now, people, I don't claim to know what the answer is. I wish I did. Because if I did, I wouldn't be sitting in my bedroom making videos on TikTok. I would be out touring the country advising people how to change their insurance plans or whatever. But I do know I am not an advocate. I'm not an adversary of socialized medicine like they have in Canada or the UK or in Europe, because I really know very little about it. But if any of my friends here are coming in from another country and you don't pay for your health coverage or your health care, can you please drop us a line and let us know, how does that work? I have heard that there is ungodly waits for medical care in Canada, sometimes in the UK, because it goes by need. And if someone else needs the service more than you, maybe they get bumped ahead. Please let us know if you have experienced difficulty accessing care, because I know here in the US, people have difficulty accessing care. One of my sons has severe mental health problems and severe substance use disorder. And I am going to go on a rant about that one of these days. And let me tell you, for years, I have been fighting our medical system tooth and nail to get him the treatment that he needs. But imagine if it were like that for all medical problems or for other emergencies. Not that a psychiatric emergency is not an emergency, because believe me, it is. But I don't know what is the answer. But I'm trying to brainstorm with smart people like you, and maybe together we can think of something and present it to our lawmakers and maybe begin to facilitate some change so that Americans can get healthier, better access to care, more affordable care. They do it in other countries. There is no reason why we can't do it here in the United States of America. So friends from other countries, drop us a comment and let us know how it works out for you. Those of you here tuning in from the United States, please, please, I want to know what has been your experience with difficulty accessing care. Maybe because of deductibles, maybe because your insurance just won't pay. I want to know all the tea. I want to know all the details. Please drop me a line. Let me know what's going on, and we will talk about it on this platform. We will. And that's all I got for tonight. You all have a good night. Love you. Bye.
We have big news right now. Health insurance prices are expected to skyrocket. Premiums for those who are getting health insurance through the Affordable Care Act will go up on average 15%, sometimes as high as 75%, according to latest NBC News reporting in 2026, because various Affordable Care Act subsidies that were set to expire at the end of 2025 will in fact expire. The budget bill that was passed by Republicans in Congress did not extend these subsidies. These subsidies were originally passed back in 2021. They were extended by the Inflation Reduction Act through the end of 2025. But remember, the Congressional Budget Office had been warning that if Republicans do not extend these subsidies, then, a lot of people are going to lose health care. And now potentially 4 million Americans could lose health care next year because of the increase in prices. 15% to 75% in premium increases. So spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio. Subscribe for free and follow along for more.
So not only are your medical bills going to start showing up on your credit report, but CNBC is reporting that at the end of this year, the subsidies for those on the Affordable Care Act end. And they're reporting that your premiums for your Affordable Care Act insurance are going to go up anywhere from 15 to 75%. So in the supposed wealthiest nation on earth, we are making it that much harder for the average United States citizen. Now, not only do you have to deal with not being able to afford your insurance next year, of course, that's going to create a ton of debt, and it's also going to create a ton of medical bills for the average American. These medical bills are going to show up on your credit report, making it that much more difficult for you to be able to qualify for a home, qualify for rent, qualify for car insurance, qualify for car loans, qualify for cell phones, and a whole host of other things. Everything that this administration does by the alleged president, Donald Trump, is designed to make life that much more difficult for the average American. These corporate billionaires and CEOs, along with the president, are trying to make life that much harder for you, to keep you enslaved, to keep you working for them 60, 70 hours a week, because they don't want you to be free. They don't want the average American to have freedom or any type of luxuries. They want you in full-time panic mode. But this is what we are calling winning nowadays, I guess. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this winning we're doing. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Have you seen the graphics that we've been posting? I'll just give you an example. If you look at Maga Mike Johnson's district, that's Louisiana's 4th congressional district, a couple earning $82,800 a year is currently paying $541.92 with the ACA subsidies, which keeps the price down. Still, in my opinion, too expensive, but it keeps the price down. Contrast that to what the price will be in 2026 if the Affordable Care Act subsidies expire. It's going to cost $2,180.42 per month. That's an increase of $19,000 every single year, a 302% increase. Who's able to pay a $19,000 increase for their health insurance when people are struggling to get by right now as the cost of groceries are increasing, as people can't afford their rent or their mortgage payments? If they're lucky enough to have a house. We showed some other districts as well. You go to Mike Lawler, MAGA Republican from New York, someone earning $82,000 a year, currently paying $511.58. They will be paying $1,633.08 per month. That will be an increase of $13,000 per year, or 219% increase every year. No one's able to afford that stuff. All right, so Donald Trump from the Oval Office also talking about bailouts because tariffs are bankrupting our farmers.
Well, now we've done it. If you're not aware, all of our health insurance premiums are going to skyrocket. And wait, before you start blaming one side or the other, remember, we're in this situation because of all of us. We're in this situation because of anyone who had the legal right to go vote, didn't go vote, or voted for whoever. And this is where we are. And this, when I say this, I mean this is where we are. Where you and I are fighting for scraps and the people that already have more than they'll ever need in their life have even more. So, I made this video because I want you guys to talk about it. I want you guys to think about it and realize that it's probably too late, but if there was ever a chance for you guys to find a common ground to stand together, it's today.
Finally, Trump asked about healthcare, another area in which the losses are just piling up. Here is Trump's current view on when we will get the damn healthcare plan.
Mr. President, are you planning to unveil a healthcare plan anytime soon?
Well, we're looking at different alternatives. I mean, I like my plan the best. Don't give any money to the insurance companies. Give it to the people directly. Let them go out and buy their own health healthcare plan, and we're looking at that. If that can work, we're looking at that. That's sort of take it off. That's what I like. Don't give the money to the insurance companies. They go out and buy their own plan. You give the money to the people.
The only problem, of course, is that the money you give to the people, they then spend with the health insurance company. So the health insurance company still gets the money, but you take away all leverage by saying to individuals, go negotiate. Have you ever negotiated with Aetna by yourself? It doesn't go particularly well.
Americans all across the political spectrum are feeling this one. From blue states, red states, rural counties, big cities, everyone's asking the same question. Why does it cost more to stay alive in America than it costs to fly to another country and get treated there? Insurance premiums have spiked so fast, you think they were trying to win the Kentucky Derby. Families that were already struggling are now looking at numbers that don't make sense. Premiums that used to be a manageable part of the budget are suddenly the size of a rent payment. Deductibles are so high it almost feels like you need a second job to afford being sick. And the irony, a whole lot of the outrage is coming from Trump's own supporters, the same voters who bought into the promises of cheaper, better healthcare for everyone. And they are now standing in line today holding the exact opposite. Higher bills, fewer benefits, and the sinking realization that maybe the slogans should have been make healthcare expensive again. Let's talk about what's causing the chaos. Now, under Trump's current policy push, efforts to weaken the Affordable Care Act have kicked the entire system off balance. Enhanced subsidies on the chopping block. Marketplace stability cracked wide open, and consumer protections looking like a Black Friday clearance sale. And what happens when you shake up a healthcare system already held together by duct tape and prayer? Prices go up, companies panic, people suffer. Insurance companies are earned shy. Now, if the Affordable Care Act isn't funded, they'll pass the cost to the people. And guess what? They're already doing it. By 2026, experts predict premiums could surge even higher. So if Americans think today's numbers are unbelievable, buckle up, because the ride isn't over. Now, the human part of this is that this isn't just politics. This is people's lives. Parents are skipping prescriptions so their kids can get treated. Young adults are delaying care because they simply can't afford it. Seniors on fixed incomes are forced into impossible choices. And you know, the system is broken when people say things like, I'm avoiding the hospital, I'll just drink water and hope for the best. America, the only country where hydration is considered a medical strategy. Even Maga voters who defended Trump's approach to healthcare are now questioning it. They are asking why their premiums doubled, why nothing improved. They're wondering how repeal and replace somehow became repeal, and well, good luck. Their growing frustration, their growing frustration that crosses party lines, because at the end of the day, pain is universal, financial pain especially. And you've got to love the government's response. Premiums are up dramatically, but don't worry, we're working on something. What that something is, nobody knows. Maybe they are designing a new slogan. Maybe they are holding a meeting about holding another meeting. Who knows? Meanwhile, Americans are refreshing their insurance portals. Like, maybe if I check at 3 a.m. while Mercury is in retrograde, the price will go down. Nope, it won't. With the country upset and pressure building, 2026 is shaping up to be a critical year for healthcare in America. Either the ACA gets funded and premiums stabilize, or Americans brace for another round of wallet-crushing increase. And remember, every policy has costs. And right now, the cost is being paid by regular people just trying to take care of themselves and their families. So, as premiums rise, frustrations boil, and healthcare tug of war continues, one thing is clear: the American people are tired. They want a system that works, not a system that works against them. Whether you love Trump, hate Trump, or fall somewhere in the complicated middle, those bills don't care about your political identity. They just keep climbing. So, what do you think is driving these premium hikes the most? Policy changes, corporate greed, and or something else? Now, do you believe the Affordable Care Act will be funded in time to prevent the 2026 healthcare disaster? And the biggest question, should healthcare in America be treated as a basic right or a business? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I read every one of them. And thanks for watching Global Views with Josh. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you found this commentary insightful. More content coming your way soon. Until then, credit belongs to original creators.